All right, so I wanted to leave a little video, mainly honestly because I'm bored. I'm sitting here in my truck, and I'm at the Tampa, Florida West Shore Marriott, and this is where the FIRC is going down for my flight instructor refresher. And as I wrote on the blog before, I made a decision this year to do the FIRC in person, mainly out of curiosity and also out of the hope that I would get a little bit more out of it than doing it online. And I will say that I need to actually open up my, well, I'll be okay for a little bit. I will say that I'm almost done. So it's day 2. It's a 2-day seminar, and basically it's lunchtime. And that's the reason I'm bored, because they gave us an hour and 20 minutes for lunch. And yesterday I ate lunch in the hotel, and I sat with a bunch of guys and socialized and actually had a good time. I mean, I am a somewhat social person, but one thing about me is I have what I like to call a socialometer, and it pegs pretty quickly. That's just one thing about, just a personal note about me. I'm good and I'm fine with social situations, but my duration, my battery, is very short. And I can tell you flat out, it's day 2 right now, and I'm just simply not in the mood to socialize with anybody. Furthermore, the food at this hotel is ridiculously expensive. I think I paid almost $40 yesterday for food, which should have cost me about $12. And I just simply wasn't going to repeat that. So I actually packed my lunch today, and with the help of my wife, and I'm eating here in the truck. So they gave us an hour and 20 minutes, and I already ate. I've got an apple I'm going to eat here shortly, and I've got a little piece of chocolate for my sinful dessert. But I'm just trying to milk the time a little bit. Right now it's about 12:20, so I've got about 40 minutes. I'm about halfway through the allotted lunch period, so I figured I'd just leave a quick recording. And then after I'm done doing this, I'm going to call my wife and talk to her. And hopefully by the time I eat my apple and whatnot, I'll go back in and we'll jump right back into this thing. I just assumed we'd take a 20-minute lunch and dive right back in. So here's my little review of this in-person FIRC so far. It's not worth it. That's my review. It's not worth it. There are upsides, but the downsides, in my opinion, outweigh the upsides. I'll be completely honest with you. I learned more than I would have if I had done the online thing. But nothing that I learned, in my opinion, is material to making me be a better instructor than I was otherwise. Everything that we covered was fringe type stuff. Maybe I'll get more of the meat and potatoes on the flight review that I have coming up soon. And frankly, I probably know most of the meat and potatoes, but we covered some regulatory changes and some other things that are going on that are pertinent right now. But I could have gotten all that online. Might have been a little more dry online, but it's honestly not that wet here. I mean, I like the speaker. He's fine. But I'd give him a meh grade. I mean, you could tell he's given the presentation many times. He's fluid. His PowerPoint is good. Everything's fine with it. It's just, it's not funny. It's kind of dry. And the thing is, I'm a working stiff. I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and weekends are really valuable to me. I mean, I literally do everything that makes my life worth living for the most part on the weekends. It's one side effect to the paradigm that I operate within. And And I've just given up my entire weekend to do this. Now, it will be fruitful. So I guess giving up isn't the right word, because I will renew my CFI with the effort that I put out this weekend. But it's really not worth it, in my opinion, because traditionally what I do is I do sort of like a renewal month, and I do it online. And what I basically do, I need to get some airflow in this thing. It's starting to get a little toasty in here. Here we go. So that ought to help for now. So what I normally do is sort of like a renewal month, and I'll start like in March, and basically I'll chip away at the modules on the online thing. I tend to use American Flyers mainly because I paid already for it. If you're familiar with American Flyers, you pay once and you renew for free forever, although you do have to pay for the paperwork piece, but it's like $50, big deal. Basically, it's dry and you do it, but the thing is you spread it out over time. So if I do a renewal month, I might shoot for like 3 modules every single week, and by the time the month has ended, I look back and I say, you know what, I just did all that, and it felt like nothing. This feels like I've thrown my weekend away. It really does. I mean, my wife's at home right now with the dogs. This is prime time real estate in my life on the calendar right now, where I could be doing things that are important to me, and instead I'm sitting here at this Marriott. So, like I said, it's not a waste of time, but in my opinion, it's not the most efficient way to do it. I think in terms of hours spent, it probably might be, probably by a close margin, it may be. But the illusion is that it's much more sacrificial to do it this way than it is to do it the way I normally do it. The other thing I've noticed is that everybody's old. I mean, and that's not a cut down to them, it's just an observation. Everybody here is old. And so, I mean, I'm the youngest guy in the class, no doubt. The next youngest guy up, I mean, I'm not sitting there polling people's ages, but the next youngest guy up is probably 45, something like that. I'm 37. So, but I would say, just from a quick observation, the average age in that class is probably 70, 68, between 68 and 72. And it's a pretty tight standard deviation. I mean, of course it would have to be, I guess, the higher the number gets, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm sitting in a room mainly full of old people, and part of the reason I came here was to have a networking opportunity. And unfortunately, my social battery has died, so now I'm just kind of like just trying to get this thing done. But yesterday I was social and I met people, and it was nice. And I don't want to take away from that, but at my age, I'm still, I still got one foot in youth here. The real value would have been to find people my age, and there's not a soul in there my age. There's one guy who's maybe mid-40s, and everybody else is 70. So really it's of minimal value to me. So the bottom line is, I'm going to wrap it up, obviously. I'm going to get my CFI renewed, but I'm definitely going back to the online thing. And I don't know if the old people thing here is a testament to the fact that that's sort of like the state of the CFI population today. I don't know. Or if it's a testament of the fact that young people tend to be busy, as I am. A lot of these guys are retired. They probably sit at home and pull weeds in their garden all week, and and to them it's a social thing. Get out of the house and do something. For me, it's a sacrifice to come over here and do this, and so it's I guess we're coming from different places. The other thing is, young people tend to leverage the online option. So anyway, long story short, even though I've given you the long story, but I'll just give you the short story in parallel, and that is that I'm almost done. I'm like 4 hours from being done, and I will have my CFI renewed, and that was the mission of the weekend, but I will not be doing the in-person thing again for for probably at least, if I do it again, frankly ever, it's probably going to be several renewals from now. I'm going to do the online thing probably for the next 5. So in another decade, maybe when I'm in my upper 40s, I might do another in-person one, just because I will admit one thing, I probably have learned a little bit more, so there is some value to it, but when you juxtapose it with just how much I have on my schedule to give up the most valuable piece of my weekend, all of it basically, nope, not worth it. So that's my review. So really, I just want to wrap this thing up. So that's what I'm going to do. I still got 37 minutes to burn, and I'm going to go in there and get coffee and all that before we get kicked off. So I really have about 30 minutes to burn. So I'm going to eat this apple. That's what I'm going to do right now. And let me do it with one hand, because I'm holding my phone with the other hand. And I'm going to eat this yummy apple. And then I'm going to call my wife. And then I'm going to go in there and hit the ground running. I forget the modules we have left. I want to say loss of control. That's a thing where basically spinning your airplane into the ground, base to final. You know, you tend to, you got a heavy crosswind, you're on base, and you miscalculate, it blows you way past final, so then you tighten your turn up and get uncoordinated and do basically an accelerated stall. That's a common one. So there's a whole module about things like that, angle of attack indicators and all that. Which I may put one on my plane, but let's be honest, it's a freaking Cherokee. I mean, Cherokees are hard to stall anyway. And I mean, that airplane's been flying 45 years without an angle of attack indicator, and my skill is such that I can fly it for another 45 years without an angle of attack indicator. So it would be a gimmick. It'd be something I'd do because I got $2,000 burning a hole in my pocket. But it's a thought. I had thought about doing it. I forget what the other modules are we're going to cover, but it's 3 modules we're going to cover. And then there's another test. We took a test yesterday. Going to take a test again today. And one thing I don't know is, and I honestly don't know this answer. Usually, not to talk in my mouth full, I'm sorry, but the video's rolling. I don't know if I'm going to get my temp cert today or not. Usually when you do the online thing, it prints you out a temp cert right away. So I'd like to think I'm going to walk out of here today with a temporary cert, but I don't know that for sure. I would hope so, because I expire at the end of this month, and it's the 14th right now. So, but that's it. So I know I normally blog about the airplane and what's going on with the plane, and there is stuff going on with the plane, but I figured this one particular video is just set to talk about my FIRC. I don't know how many flight instructors I have watching my videos. Frankly, I don't have that many people watching my videos. I just frankly do it for me. I don't make any money or anything. I have no interest in making money, but I sometimes I have stuff to say, and if nothing else, it's nice to go back and look at things that I've done in the past. Oh, I did make a decision. I don't think I posted anything on the blog yet, but I had my airplane touched up, and I posted, or I filmed a 20-minute video talking about that, but I haven't put it on YouTube yet. But I had my airplane touched up, and for the most part, I'm happy with it. But they repainted my wheel paint. The paint didn't stick. I went flying, came back, and had big chunks of paint missing. And so that's pretty rookie. I don't know, if you're a paint guy, it seems like you'd be pretty embarrassed by that. And I to say that I was upset is probably an overstatement, but I was definitely a little distraught by it. But the guy's going to make it right for me. He said, yeah, bring it back, we'll do it right. Why didn't you do it right in the first place? I mean, he had my plane for 8 days. Actually 9 days. But here's the thing, it's the nose wheel pant, so I decided what I'm going to do. My airplane is literally going to be in annual right now, 2 weeks from now. And during that annual, I'm going to have the wheel pant pulled off. And I think I'm just going to give it to the guy and let him paint the pant alone, so I don't have to take the plane back over there. It's just too convenient to do it that way. So once I get it over to my mechanic, we'll jack it up, pull the wheel off, because the front wheel has to come off anyway to repack the bearings. So he'll pull that wheel off and probably just leave it there on a jack or something while he does other stuff. And I will I'll drop the wheel pan off, he'll paint it up, and I'll bring it back the next weekend. So that'll be the plan. But anyway, I'll talk more about the airplane and what's going on later. That's kind of out of scope for this video, but I'm going to finish this apple, call my wife, and I think it's going to time out pretty well to head back in and wrap this thing up. So there's my review now that I'm 75% of the way through my first in-person flight instructor refresher. I'm very, very unimpressed. It's a very inefficient way for a younger guy, a young, busy professional like me. It's a very inefficient way to do it, if you ask me. So I could be doing this crap at work, honestly. I mean, my job is such that I'm paid to do a job. I'm a salaried guy, but I'm also paid to be available. And during some of those times that I'm available, but I'm not, super busy, I could bust out a flight instructor module at work while I'm getting paid. I'm not getting paid right now. In fact, the opposite. I'm paying to do this, and I'm giving up my weekend to do it. It just, nah. I tried it. I don't have any regrets trying it per se, but it truly is, for a guy like me in my paradigm, it truly is a waste of time. So I will not be doing an in-person FIRC anytime soon. I'm an online guy. I'm going back to online, and I'm just going to keep doing it online for a while. So, all right, I'm out. See ya.